completely just stunning opportunity to be able to cap that much work off with such a huge project as Cars Land. And I'm new to this collaboration with Pixar and Imagineering, and the thing that has fascinated me is that we as Imagineers are working with the people who worked on the movie. There's a direct translation. They think about the environment, we think about the environment. It's not like we're working with people who made this movie a generation ago. They're here with us every day, and it's really an unprecedented collaboration.
Yeah, the guy in the Hawaiian shirt in the pictures, Bill Cohen, was a production designer who worked with me on the movie, and he's the one that came up with the concept of having the automotive shapes in the rock work and so on. And then we also have Bill Cohen, Bob Hawley, who did all the character design work. He's working, and really helping design make sure the characters look like the characters in the movie, but also the ride vehicles. This is using the ride system like Test Track in the GM Pavilion down in Epcot. And so we're very limited as to what we could do. And we wanted them to be like you're riding in a car character like from the movie. And so we had, the production design, the design team that helped design the original characters in the movie worked with the Imagineers and helped design the ride vehicles and so on. And for us personally, it's so exciting to come back and see a full-size, the foam model of the characters from the movie. I mean, that's what's going to be so cool is when you ride through on this ride and you go into the show building and you see the Radiator Springs. It is Radiator Springs, and the characters are full size, the way they would really be like real cars. And they're going to be, if you've gone to the downstairs and seen all the beautiful models, and you see that really innovative Lightning McQueen with the animated mouth and so on. And I got to do the groundbreaking with a gigantic piece of I got to rip up a huge piece of concrete there, or asphalt. The helmet painted up by one of our collaborators on Cars, the amazing car designer Chip Foose, who's right here with his family. He's down in the front.
They painted a line on the asphalt which was outside of John's reach with that. And they said he can't get over there because he's not going to move the treads. He's not going to drive the treads back and forth. He's just going to move the arm. Within about 5 minutes, he had the treads unlocked. And he was right
It's tearing up a lot of...
Oh, we got to talk about this little thing in Florida.
Oh, yeah. So, if those have been to... you've seen a Midway Mania, Toy Story Midway Mania here in Florida. It lives in the Disney Hollywood Studios, and they took this one little where they wanted to put it was in a soundstage, and they wanted to take this one avenue and kind of make it feel like this like a Pixar studio and stuff. And I said, well, Pixar has this beautiful building that Steve Jobs designed for us, and it's really inspired by the surroundings. We're in Emeryville, which is a little, an old industrial area right across the bay from San Francisco. It has these beautiful two-story brick factory buildings that have been restored as lofts, and he designed our new building, but it looks just like that with this great brick that's kind of a salt and pepper colored brick, which is inspired by some of the old factory buildings. And it has a really kind of unique look to it. And I said, well, if you're going to make it look like Pixar, you got to make it look like Pixar. And they did. They went in and got the exact same brick. And it is the weird, for everybody who works at Pixar, when you go down there, it is this weirdest like trip, like you're spacing out because it's like you're at work, but it's not. It's like the dreams you have at home, but it's not your home. And it has this great, but it feels just like it. They got all the details absolutely exact. And then, of course, it's just, it's where sort of the toys come alive, and they kind of did the filming of Toy Story kind of at the place. So.
Well, I love the fact that we were doing that. We were creating this fantasy version of Pixar in Florida, where all the toys had spilled out. And while we were building that, we installed a giant Luxo Junior in a ball in front of the real Pixar studio.
Yeah,
so
this is we had a beautiful art exhibit of the art of Pixar that was at the Museum of Modern Art, and that exhibit's been touring around the world. And when it was in Melbourne, Australia, the museum commissioned these artists in Melbourne, in Australia, who do these large installation works, and they worked with us to get our Luxo Junior character to be exactly on model. I mean, it's exactly on model. And then they built it as this gigantic sculpture. And then after the exhibit, they gave it to Pixar. So we installed it out in front of Pixar. And then show them, wait, I don't know if you guys have been down there, but you got, on the Pixar street, there is the Luxo Comes Alive on the street, right?
Oh,
it's just one of those little nuggets. One of the things that we've always wanted to do, is to have these little moments in the parks that are just these little special things that are a little bit of entertainment. It's not an attraction unto itself, but it's something that's really, really fun.
I think we'll connect with that video, but we are running out of time. So I guess I'd throw you though. Why do you think the Pixar story should be in the parks? What does it mean to you to have our films represented?
Well, one of the things is to have the characters. I think Disney is the best company in the world to take a set of characters and to keep them alive long beyond the boundary of the film. Long beyond the film. Because most other studios, it's like a movie comes out, then the DVD comes out, and that's it. But with the parks, it's so exciting to create a character, but then it's like alive in the parks forever. And the attention to quality is so important for all of us, and especially at Pixar, where I always say quality is the best business plan. But it extends to Imagineering too, to make these things quality. And this is what like the rides that we've really been involved with. The more recently, like the submarine ride, and especially the Midway Mania. Toy Story, because that ride, I mean, you can ride it again and again and again and again. And even though it's not exactly anything directly out of the movie, it is full of the life and the character and the sensibility that the world in the movie has. But it is an amazing ride unto itself that you want to just continue riding again and again. And I think that's sort of the philosophy we're having with Cars Land and with all the future attractions, in places for the characters to come alive. And I think it's so special, to have our characters alive. And I think, to me, it hit home one day when they had me go down to New Orleans Square, and I was watching Fantasmic, and everybody was kind of I had no idea why they wanted to be there, but at the end, the Mark Twain comes and all the Disney characters on there, and it comes around. They added Buzz and Woody onto the back, as a special thing of just like including them in with all the Disney characters, and it really brought tears to my eyes because growing up, coming to Disneyland and working here and all like that, and then having the characters that we create start being a part of the Disney parks, and I think it's one of the reasons, honestly, is why. Bob Iger and his brilliance, sort of merged the two companies, because I think it was important. He's starting to see how important the Pixar characters are to, the parks as a whole, but also the creators.